Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Rhonda.
When you're in conflict in your marriage, do you think you could be part of the problem?
So, a lot of times when we're arguing with our spouse, when we have a lot of conflict in the relationship, we're blaming the spouse. You should see what he or she is doing, saying, how they're acting. But do we ever stop to think, are we putting a stumbling block before our spouse? Are we doing things that goad our spouse into those negative responses?
You know, Jesus said to get the log out of your eye before you try to get the speck out of your brother's eye. And so many times it's really easy when we are in a conflict in our marriage that we're looking at everything that our spouse is doing that they need to change.
Yeah, and that's really part of the problem with couples that are struggling is
Yeah.
all they can see is the negative.
Right.
They can't see the positive anymore, and their spouse is to blame for everything. And so we would like to encourage you that regardless of what your spouse is doing, for you to do the right thing in the marriage between you and the Lord.
You know, you can never change another person. You can only change yourself. God didn't give you power to change other people, but He gave you power to change yourself.
So, what is your part in making this conflict or this resolving of this issue go well? So, we want to think about what can I do to make it go better instead of putting all that responsibility on the spouse?
Take personal responsibility, and then you will see success. We want to make an examination of ourselves and see what we need to do to change instead of having our focus on our spouse and what they need to change.
Because it's my responsibility to work on me. And so that's between me and the Lord. But guess what? My spouse's relationship is between him and the Lord. And so many times in a marriage, we see couples that feel that because we're married, I can demand things of you. I can start telling you how you should live and how you should treat me. And the thing is, we are not supposed to demand a good and healthy relationship. That is gifted. That is given because of the other person's walk with the Lord.
It's just going to be frustrating when we're trying to change another person
Yeah.
when we really need to be focusing on changing ourselves.
That would make us a dictator or a parent in the relationship. And
Yeah.
those kind of relationships don't go well.
Yeah.
And so if we're dictating, if we're making demands and we're frustrated, my spouse won't give me this or do this, maybe we're trying to control everything when we only are supposed to control ourselves. Allow your spouse to be led of the Lord. If your spouse just isn't to a place to give you certain things or behave in certain ways, go to the Lord about it. Because that's going to be a growth issue with
Yeah.
them. And it's not something you can force them into.
You want to let God be God to your spouse and let Him deal with them, because you could be at different levels of maturity in your relationship. And you need to allow your spouse to be who they are before God.
The unconditional love and acceptance. And the thing is, too, there may be a reason that your spouse is being triggered by certain things that you're doing. So, if you learn your spouse, if you understand your spouse, you can avoid some of those things and learn how to speak into your spouse's heart in a way they would be more likely to hear you.
Yep. And you'll be well on your way to having a successful marriage, putting just this simple thing into practice.